Page 3 of the Religion Basics worksheet asks you to locate the places of worship that are closest to you. And you are asked for the closest Jewish synagogue, Muslim mosques, Hindu temple, Buddhist temple, Sikh temple, Christian church. So to find the closest locations, I like to use Google Maps. And if I typed in my address, or you type in your address, I'll use, let's see, I'll use this address. The street number, name, and zip code is really sufficient, and you put that into your browser window or the Google search and click on Maps, so you can use the Google Maps. And this then highlights your location. I like to save my location so I can always quickly find my home base. And then we want to search nearby. And let's say we're looking for the closest Jewish synagogue. So I'll just type in synagogue. And that will highlight all the area synagogues. And of course, all I need is the closest one. The dot in the center indicates the address, my home base, if you will, and I can zoom in and I can clearly see that Congregation Ner Shalom is the closest to the address that I put in here. And so to get details about this congregation, I can type that in, click on that, it will give me the congregation, the organization's name, and the address, and you're asked to put both the name and address in your worksheet. So you can highlight and copy and go back to your worksheet, and you can just paste it in there. And we don't want to forget the name. So let's go ahead and add the name. Oop, that came up pretty large and in white. You know what? If I click directions, it will actually show me how to get there from that address, and I'll highlight the name and the address there, and then I can just, boy, I'm really messing this up. Undo, 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 undo. There you go. So I've got the name of the congregation and its address, and if I even want to see how many miles it is from there, I can zoom into the address that I had put in here. Where was that? It's actually up here, but more or less. And I can see that it is 8.7 miles from me. And I can, because my miles, no, how many miles away is it? 8.7 miles. And you'll go through that for all the religions on here. And when you've got them all filled in, you'll go ahead and save it along with the rest of the information you put on the worksheet, and you can upload it from there. Let's see, Christian church. There are so many Christian churches, so many different ones. That's a little more challenging to find which one is closest. Let's use the back so we can get back to my original home address. And I think, let's see. I'll just type it in again. I think that's correct. Yes, there we go. I had saved it. It should have showed up. Nearby, and I'll just type in church. I don't care what denomination is the closest, whatever Christian church is the closest. So click search nearby and enter church. And apparently this Virginia Korean SDA church is the closest to that address, so that's the one that I'll put in. Now, some students don't want to give me their entire address. They'll just give me a zip code. Fine. The zip code is going to give me the center. And if we back out, we'll see that's really, this is the whole zip code area, and this is the center of it. So I don't know exactly where you are, but the actual address was up here. And if we're looking for a church nearby that zip code, it may not be the same one. So in this case, it might be this one here, this one. There's any number of churches in that zip code. This is the center of the zip code. So while this one up here, Korean SDA Church, was the closest to my actual address, it's not the closest one to the center of the zip code that Google is pointing out. If you only give me a zip code without your address, since I don't know where specifically in the county you are, I can't know that whatever one you put on is actually the closest. If you put this one as the closest and I put the zip code in, I'm going to see all these other options. So I'm not going to be able to count that as correct, because maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I don't know because you were very vague. So, but since this is worth 5 points and there are 6, basically you're getting an extra credit point if all 6 of them are correct. And if you get the Christian one wrong, well, that's why it's there as extra credit. So don't worry about that too much. But there's a difference between putting in your exact address versus putting in just the zip code. And if you don't give me the address, you only give me the zip code, it's going to be hard for me to know for sure, well, which one of these where in that zip code are you? So that's how to use Google Maps to help you find the places closest to you. Want to try another one? Let's go back to the original address I used. Tricia Street, 20112. Okay, and nearby, let's see, where's the closest Hindu temple? All right, it zoomed way far out, but let's just zoom it back in. Again, this is marking the address I put in, and I can see there's a Hindu temple here, here, here. Just visually, I can see that this BVP Shiva Mandir, that's the closest one to my address. So I'll put that in. Okay, that's enough for this demo. Hope it helped.